Here we are, Victory Monday. What's up, everybody? First and foremost, apologize that I couldn't do a video before the season started. Life just got crazy, but I figured I'd jump on here today to give you my reaction to Week 1, both on a Bills level and just a NFL level. Obviously, a lot of games yesterday were some big surprises, some almost surprises, including ours. Yeah, we'll start. We'll start with us. So, not the way obviously you drew it up in terms of the first half, being down 14. I feel I don't think there was like a huge worry at one point, or at least I didn't feel a huge like we're in for it type of thing. I felt early on that we just got in our own way. Penalties, the turnover, and Arizona, was executing. They opened the game with a long drive, like 7-8 minute drive, which was extended by a horrific personal foul penalty on Ingram that should not have been called. But there was a lot of those yesterday because, once again, the NFL trotted out a crew that's never worked together. Why the hell do we have preseason for? Just insane. Anyways. So didn't start the way we wanted to, but I never felt that the game was getting away from us. Throughout the whole game, I felt extremely confident offensively. I thought that they moved the ball fine. I felt every time that we had the ball, we were going to score in some capacity. I'm looking up the stats here in terms of total stats as an offense. 352 total yards, 222 passing, a $130 on the ground. Obviously, the one turnover. Josh was sacked twice. Third down's got to be better, 3 for 9. But 9 for 65 in terms of penalties. That's not great. And we actually did, possession was almost down the middle, off by a minute. But I want to say for the first 30, Arizona had it for at least 20 in the first half. They had longer drives. So that I don't think it's going to go that way every game. So for the crowd out there that's, concerned that Josh had 5 passing attempts in the first half, or to like the 2-minute warning in the first half, whatever it was, I don't think that's going to be how it happens in the future. I just think that's how that game played out. Like, it is what it is. They had, let's see here, just breaking it down. Josh threw the ball 23 times. They had 33 rushing attempts. Josh accounted for 9 of those. So from a running back's perspective, they had 1 more rush than they had pass. They're going to be a more balanced team. That's what they want, a more balanced team. And what I said leading into the season is I think that that's going to actually help Josh. I don't want to take away from Josh, but I want to make Josh even more effective. And the best way to do that is not by quantity, it's by quality. Okay, I think that's the miss here for a lot of people. That it's, wow, you're going to neuter the quarterback. You can't, like, Josh. Yes, Josh is the team. Like, but there's zero question. He was the team last year. He was the team the year before that. He's the guy. So if I can help him in other ways become a better quarterback, and maybe better is not the word, more efficient quarterback. And again, that's going to get misconstrued because I'm not talking about completion percentage or what have you. But I thought Josh obviously looked phenomenal yesterday outside of the fumble. 78% completion percentage. Obviously he hit some big time passes, made some big time throws, got out of some, tough pockets, but the hurdle, it's the Josh Allen experience, and that's why he's the best player on the planet. And I don't think, quite frankly, it's really all that close in terms of just pure ability to play the game at the highest of levels and basically week in and week out. We'll see how the rest of this season goes, but from what he's shown for the last 5+ years now is that he's always going to give his team a chance to win a game, whatever game it is. And that's what we had yesterday. Not a lot of teams can come back from down 2 touchdowns. I go in the history books. If a team falls down 2 touchdowns, what's the percentage that you're going to come back and win? I bet you it's probably under 30, maybe 40 at the highest. So now you're not even 50-50 anymore. So what makes up that 70%? Let's just go with 30%. Having Josh Allen as your quarterback does. Because in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you can be within a score, tie game, lead. And that's exactly what happened. They double dip, halftime, come down, boom, touchdown, away you go. So some of the good, I don't know if I should start with good or negatives first. I should maybe turn off the phone notifications. So I'll start negatively. How does that sound? I just start with the negatives and with the positives, right? In the next week. One thing that just I don't understand why they continue to employ their special teams coordinator, because he should have been gone last year, end of last year, come into the season. The guy is just horrific at coaching special teams. He's terrible. And it shows week in and week out. There's always some blunder. There's always some, just how did that happen type of moment on special teams. I'm not going to blame the guy if their punter shanks one, which Martin didn't shank one yesterday. Surprise, surprise. But Nicholas Morrow was blatantly held on the kick return. Again, why are you allowing Arizona to field that kick in that way? So we come out going away from the tunnel, so into the wind. And it was windy yesterday. It was windy. Tough kicking that way. And good on Bass for making the kicks. I think he actually made 2 going that way. 3? No, 1 out of the 3? I can't remember now. But we're kicking off, okay? So the new kickoff rules, whatever's, right? It still remains if you kick the ball out of bounds, it goes to the 40. We know that, right? So they do this line drive like squibby guy, right? Half squib, half just kind of bullet, which Bass is decent at. Guy fumbles around with it at like the 5-10 yard line, gets tackled inside the 20. Why is that not the every time going that direction? Knowing that Bass is going to put it in the end zone or through the end zone going with the wind. Why do we got to hit the lob wedge shot? Why are we flopping one where it sits, and now this guy can just settle under it? Again, nobody can move until he touches it. We do that one. That one just so happens to be the one that goes to the house. And then the next time, we say, okay, we're going to do the line drive again, but we want to kick it away from you. And the ball goes out around the 10-yard line. All the way, boom, 40-yard line again. It's just, you don't have that much to get ready for a game, right? You don't have a game plan both defensively and offensively. Your special teams unit might see the field, 10 to 15 plays a game if we're counting punts, kickoffs, returns, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood. You don't have a 60-play script from an offense or defense for that matter. Like, it's insane. It's insane. So it's going to continue to hurt us. We're going. Obviously we become the first team to give up a return with a new kick. Sure, why not? It's always Buffalo. Put that one in the books, or at least maybe not. Maybe there was a team earlier on Sunday that returned one. I don't think that there was, but anyways. So that was negative number one. Negative number two is injuries. Josh seemed to be fine. He obviously got taped up pretty good. There's either a sprain or some sort of fracture potentially. I'm just, with what people are saying on the old Bird app, we should be hearing from the head coach here pretty soon with a short week ahead of us. But thank God it wasn't his right hand. If it was his right hand, we're fucked. But it's the left. And really the only thing that I saw watching some stuff this morning was his ability to hand the ball off left-handed. He kind of held the ball like this as opposed to just sticking it, right? So, it could be one of those like 2 to 3 week type of things where it's just going to be a pain in his ass and you're not going to hurt it worse, but it's just going to be one of those naggers type things. It's going to nag. So, again, could have been way worse. Wasn't. Josh makes a play, the hurdle, an all-pro safety. Buda Baker's one of the best in the business, has been for a while now. My opinion, was a big fan of his coming out of school. And then Taron Johnson, obviously, on the first series of the game. Caught friendly fire from Kamikaze Rap. Just the guy just cannot. It's amazing. The guy continues to just kill people and his own teammates. It's nuts. So hopefully, that kind of sounds that I won't be shocked if it's a broken forearm. The hope has got to be that, maybe he misses 3-4 weeks. Maybe he can play with a cast. I don't know. With how he plays, I mean, it could be bad. Just in terms of can you make it worse type of thing? If not, it's a pain tolerance. Shoot it up. Where you go. But that, and then Ty Johnson with a knee. I didn't see the injury. I don't know when it happened. Haven't heard an update at all. But so those would be the negatives in my eyes. Penalties too. Some of them were just, you shoot yourself in the foot with a false start. Torrance had a bad day at the offense at the office. With the face mask, and he had a holding and then another false start. 30 yards and penalties from one offensive lineman is not great. I'm a big Torrance guy. Many of you know that. So hopefully he bounces back. Thought there were good moments. I thought they run block pretty well. Him and Brown seemed to have a good thing going. Brown now obviously with the extension too. Still don't know the money on it, but that's Buffalo for you. So that's my negatives. The positives, you won the game. That's obviously the number one positive you could have. You came back. You showed resiliency. You showed the ability to withstand the storm. Whatever you want to say, right? Some people are going to say, oh, well, the opponent. Well, guess what? The opponent was the opponent yesterday. I didn't make the schedule. Neither did Josh Allen. Neither did Sean McDermott. So you played who you played. Ask Cincinnati how they feel. Ask Cincinnati if they would rather be us being 1-0 than 0-1 than losing a home opener to a team that they should beat. Well, good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. Away you go. So, I feel like they had a good game plan offensively. Just, again, when they stubbed their toe, it hurt them, right? So, but The way that they ran the ball, I thought was very good. Play action was good. Obviously, you want to get Kincaid more involved. You want to get Shakir more involved. I can't have one catch from Kincaid. Again, was that a scheme thing that Arizona said, listen, we're going to try and take him away? I don't know for a fact. I wouldn't doubt it. The things that I saw, they were putting, a safety over the top, especially in the middle of the field, towards Kincaid's side. So, look, it is what it is type of thing. The fact remains is that they were still able to move the ball efficiently. Okay? So it wasn't like last year where, especially in the second half of the season, if we couldn't get Steph involved, if we couldn't get somebody involved early, they struggled, and that's where they turned to the run game. It's like, okay, we got to open up some things, right? 3rd and 3s are easier than 3rd and 8s. So I liked what I saw in terms of the distribution of the ball. And again, I think as the season goes and as they get more and more in terms of, okay, obviously who the opponent is going to dictate game plan. But, I liked getting, obviously, Coleman involved. I think we can really put that one to bed if that guy can play in the NFL. That was just a gigantic joke. Mac Hollins contributes. Knox hit a couple good catches. So, again, collectively, right? Collectively, it worked. And that's their approach this year. Whether one likes it or not, that's how they're going to play football. You've heard it now for a month straight of everybody eats. Yeah, well, because they don't have like a bona fide number one receiver. It is what it is. Like, accept it and move on. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're going to go 6-11 because they don't have a number one wide receiver. I think that's a whole thing that, like, oh man, in order to be in the NFL, you have to have it. What are we talking about? No, you know what you have to have? A guy like that. That's who you have to have. Hey, guess what? We got one. We got him. Huh. Gee. Like, so, but yeah, overall, impressed. I know Arizona's not great defensively. Again, I didn't pick the opponent, right? We'll see what it looks like when they play Miami on a short week, right? We'll see what it looks like when they play Jacksonville Monday night on a long week. We'll see. But all I can judge is what happened yesterday. And yesterday, they scored 34 points. Would you rather score 34 or would you rather score 10? What would you rather have? So, yeah, that's just what it was. Listening to the post game, listening to the stuff this morning. Again, it's the Super Bowl snub people from the 90s, and it's even now transpired into my generation that it's you never win by enough, you didn't win the right way type of people. And that train of thought can just, miss me with it. It's such just stupid, moronic way of thinking. Just like, you didn't do that enough, Josh. You didn't. Shut up. I cannot stand the guy calls in 5 pass attempts in the first half. Shit. So if he had 17 pass attempts in the first half and they lose the game, which one would you rather have? Shut up. Just shut up. Just hang up the phone. Don't send the tweet. Just don't do it. They accomplished what they set out to accomplish yesterday. And I'll take 19 more just like it. So, it is what it is. Some big-time performers, guys that had great games. Obviously, Josh. I'm going to read the stat that I found last night. Josh Allen today, tweet was sent yesterday. Josh Allen's stats, great follow on next. Josh Allen today became only the second player in NFL history with a game of at least 78% completion percentage or higher, 230 passing, 35 plus rushing, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. Only other player was Steve Air McNair against Jacksonville on November 4th, 2001. And I love this line. Every time you think it's maybe a ho-hum game, it's history. The guy just continues to be, well, Josh played football today, and he's the first time since fucking, the Model T rode that this quarterback did this or this player did that. It seems like it's almost every single game he plays. It's always, well, Josh became the third quarterback ever. Last one since 1972. It's what it is. And it goes to what I said, for those that were friends on the old Facebook there. Yesterday was a rough day for the Josh Allen is overrated crowd. Keep them in your prayers. Because it's going to be a long season for those fuckers. It's going to be a long season. Because, listen, you can only go based off of what you see. And if you think that Josh Allen is overrated, you need to get your fucking brain examined. Because there's something wrong. Drastically wrong. And if I was your employer, I would actually second guess keeping you as such. Because if you think that about that guy, I wonder how you approach your work. Scary. If you think Josh Allen's overrated at football. And again, I know that was NFL people thinking that, but there's a lot of non-NFL people, fans, that think the same way. It's not that you think he's overrated. It's you're jealous that he's not your quarterback. That's what it really is. Let's reiterate that. There's a little Adam Shine here. You don't think he's overrated. You just wish and would probably give up your left nut and your right lung, maybe even an eyeball, because you can still see with the other one, to have him as your quarterback. That's what it is. Okay? And that's fine. But say what it actually is. Not just, it's overrated. Too many turnovers. Yeah. Anyways, what are we, about a half in here? 23 minutes? Yeah. So all in all, a short week, right? Miami, quick turnaround. I just looked up the weather. It doesn't look special in Miami for the rest of the week. PM thunderstorms. And they get some big bumpers down there in South Florida. So, we'll see what happens with the weather. From a Miami perspective, real quick, I know obviously they squeaked one out there because Jacksonville just coughed up another game. Color me shocked. Jacksonville is in terms of country, the East version of the Chargers. They just find ways to lose football games constantly. So Miami wins one on a late second field goal after ETN fumbles through the end zone trying to score a touchdown. Ball got popped out like the inch line, goal line, whatever, and Miami gets it, 52-yarder, 4 seconds, away you go. Miami wins. Achane got hurt on that last drive for Miami. I heard knee or hip. He kind of walked off gingerly. We'll see if what affects him on a quick turnaround. I don't know who other people potentially got injured from Miami. I haven't dug that far yet, but look, this is I know you know me game. So I think a lot of that, there's new faces for sure. You got one of ours with Poyer, but I really think it just comes down to execution and, again, just grind them. They don't have, and I'm thrilled about it, they don't have the thorn in our side that was for the last 3 or 4 years with Christian Wilkins anymore. He's in Vegas. So, because he gave us fits. I mean, he did. I hated him because I think he did a lot of extracurriculars. But he was a damn good player when the whistle blew. Or before the whistle blew, excuse me. So, well, we'll see. I think a lot of it's going to have, depending upon, their approach with Josh. Is he under center? Is it, what's going on with the hand? Glove, tape, combination of both. Brace. I don't see a brace. I see more of a glove tape sitch. So, see what happens. But, and again, if it's going to be one of these downpour games, how much, with our guy, I can throw it in anything. But you're going to lean probably a little bit more running the football than you would be throwing it. Especially if it downpours in Miami. We all know that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Patrick Hammersouth. But, so yeah, it's a quick turnaround. But, rest of the league, I'll start with Cincinnati because I've already brought them up a couple times now. Cincinnati was my survivor pool pick, and I picked them probably like last Wednesday. And from about Friday on, I was like, I just don't feel good. Don't feel good. The news comes out about Higgins going to be out. Now I really don't feel great. Chase is sick. I feel worse. Sitting there on the tailgate yesterday morning, and I'm like, I don't want to pick Cincinnati. I don't want to do it. But I did it. I just kept with it. The other game that I was really, if I was going to make the switch, was going to be to Chicago over Tennessee. And I know that they came back from 17 down. So I would have survived. But, yeah, they looked like crap. Their quarterback looked like crap. Talk about overrated. So that was certainly a surprise for most. I was not surprised. But I'm just pulling up the scores here. Here we go. Good win by the Lions last night. I couldn't stay awake for the end there. Pardon me for being right. Jamison Williams. Now that I'm obviously every fantasy draft is set, he's my sleeper for the year. You're welcome if I told you that beforehand. Little scare. Thought he blew his Achilles out just before half or just after half. I can't remember now. But he ended up being fine. Let's see here. Cleveland. I completely agree with Dan Orlovsky. If you heard what he said this morning, that they need to really consider going with Jameis. Because he probably gives them a better chance to win than Watson. Watson's not an NFL quarterback anymore. He's just not. We have a big enough sample size post-massage that he can't do it like he did. For whatever reason, he wants to blame the death of his father and cousin and all that stuff. Fine, but then don't play. If it's affecting you that much, don't play. Because guys do play with it. Brett Favre, 4 touchdowns, 400 yards, Monday Night Football in Oakland. So yeah, they're and again, I thought Cleveland's going to be, I get it, it's one game, but 33 at home, week 1 to Dallas. I know that CeeDee Lamb just inked, but he hardly practiced. I know that they were high on, Dak signs the big deal, so maybe there's some, a little extra motivation there, but yeah, it's 33, but that's Cleveland. Tampa Bay stomped Washington. Chargers beat Vegas. Seattle beats Denver in Bo Nix's first game. Looked like not great. 26 for 42 for $138 and 2 interceptions, and a rushing touchdown. Expecting a little bit more out of Denver. 6 field goals for Pittsburgh as they beat Atlanta. Talked about the Bears winning. Obviously, New England. Houston beat Indianapolis by 2 points. It's funny how the new contributors down there in Houston contributed 2 touchdowns. We'll see how long that lasts for. Not going to spend another second on it. We talked about Miami. Safe to say that Carolina's back in the worst seat, or being the worst team seat, as they get just stopped by New Orleans, 47-10. And it might be tied. It might be tough. Them or the Giants. I'm probably going to lean towards Carolina being the worst. But gun to my head, if I had to take a quarterback to quarterback my team for a game or a season, Bryce Young or Daniel Jones, it's Bryce Young every day of the week. And that's kind of saying something. But, yeah, Bryce Young. So then obviously we know about Philadelphia and the Chiefs winning earlier in the week. Let's see here. And obviously you got the return of Aaron Rodgers tonight in San Francisco. So see if McCaffrey plays in that one. We'll see. Gonna be. I don't know what to expect from New York. I don't. San Fran's really good. They got a lot of guys. So how can they overcome that? I would run the heck out of the ball if I'm the Jets. Put Rodgers in a lot of play action looks. Keep him as clean as they possibly can. But again, they got a lot of dudes up front. They took out one of our guys, Lenny Floyd. We all know what happened almost 363 days ago. 367 days ago. On September 11th. So, see what happens there. But from a Bill standpoint, because I'm probably not going to do another one of these until after the game on Thursday. Again, it's an I know you, you know me. What I will say, what I'm very can't wait, is our edge guys against their offensive line. Miami's offensive line is not good. And if Greg Rousseau is going to be the player, again, you play 17 games, 17, that's 34, what's that, 51? He ain't going to have 51 sacks. Let's be honest, right? He's not going to have 3 sacks a game. But he's not just a pass rusher, right? He sets a phenomenal edge. He can take on guys. He can go from the inside to the outside. Now all of a sudden, he's got this bull/speed rush thing working. He's figured out his length, which is scary from a 6'7", 6'6", 280, 290 pound D tackle or DN. That's Mario Williams type, right? He's getting there. And if he's that guy for us, if he becomes, I might have been a year ahead of schedule here. I said last year that Rousseau is going to lead us in sacks. He stays healthy this year. There is no doubt about it that he gets to a 12, 13, 14. I'm going to put the plus sign next to it number. Because 3 sacks yesterday. Again, is it going to be 3 every game? No, but 1, 2 a game. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. And again, teams are going to start to, hey, extra guy, whatnot, and that should just help everybody else. Vaughn looked great yesterday, right? We didn't see Solomon. He was out. Epinesa didn't really have too much of a rush. I saw Epinesa actually kicked inside a little bit on 3rd down. Played a little D tackle. And Oliver actually was non-existent. Need to see more from him. Just because of, I need him to contribute. I need him to be what he was last year. And more if he can, which would be fantastic. But so that's probably my most exciting matchup. My biggest worry, sure, is going to be in the back half with their receivers. So how can we offset that, right? Well, if we can win with rushing 4 and dropping 7, that's, we win the game. Tua turn the ball over. It's going to happen. Just a matter of when, not an if. And if the weather is a factor, now it's an even playing field in terms of, right, wet footballs, balls go through hands, forearms are wet, ball moves a little bit, all that type of stuff. So that's the worry with Josh's hand, right? So and again, it's the left hand, not the right. I'd throw the glove on. I'd throw that stick-em glove on there, just added, right? It can only help. I don't think it can hurt. It can only help. So, little prediction for you. I'll Bills 30. Dolphins 20. There you go. Bills 30, Dolphins 20. Ray Davis scores a touchdown. Mac Hollins gets a touchdown. Curtis Samuel gets a touchdown. How? We'll let it happen. But those guys are going to score. So for you, anytime touchdown bettors, there's 3 names for you. Bills 30, Dolphins 20. It's been a pleasure. We'll do another one next week. Mondays might be my best days here moving forward, but not next week. So maybe Tuesday next week we'll do another one. But until then, go Bills. Catch you later.